this lovely Monday. At least it's lovely where I am in London. We're starting with some 25NL. At the moment, I have 3 tables, although in one of them I'm just waiting for the big blind. And then hopefully soon we'll have 4 tables. So for now, the first hand, I raise Jack 10 suited in the hijack, get called by both the button and the small blind, and now the big blind makes it 5. I mean, I'm not never folding for this silly bet. The question is whether I should just raise again, and I think I'm gonna go exploitatively with a 4 bet, because normally this is not a very strong hand when he raises to 5 big blinds after I raised to 5 and to 2 and got 2 callers, but he now 5 bets to this ridiculous size, min clicking it for me. So now I have to fold, but I still think in general that is a very weak raise there, or a very weak 3 bet. But unfortunately this time he seems to have it, or at least he got me to fold, but I'm pretty sure I was behind. The thing is, quite often they will do this with a hand like King 8 or King 10 or so, and then you can get them to fold either pre-flop or then on the flop if they don't hit. But yeah, I didn't really want to go multi-way with Jack 10 suited, especially not having position on all the players. So that was why I chose to 4-bet as well. But okay, we're not off to the greatest start, but it is fine. Got many more hands to play today, so that's all good. Pocket 7s in the big blind on the top right. Still fiddling a bit with these tables. Oh, I made this mistake. And we have a 3 bet, so we're not gonna cold 4-bet. So I just have to fold my pocket 7s, even though they were quite nice. And look, I'm just too clumsy here with setting up the tables. Sorry about that. All I want to do is make this one a bit smaller because we don't have any action on it. At least not for us. On the other one, bottom right, we have ace queen offsuit. And we get called by the button and by the small blind and by the big blind. And now if it checks to me, I will bet this one. I think we can get called by, can definitely get called by a weaker ace, by a flush draw, potentially by a 10. Get called by the button. That's the one player I didn't really want to call me. Okay, now we're getting raised there by the small blind, who is a rather passive player, but at this point I am still going to call. Also, we do have the queen of spades. This 4 is most likely a brick. And he just shoves there. Yeah, I mean, we're just bluff catching. He's never doing this with a weaker ace, I think. So I think this is just has to be a fold, unfortunately, even though we have a good hand, but it's a multi-way pot. And a player who was quite passive, he just called in the small blind. So I do think that he might have a set there. Maybe I could have gotten away on the flop, but I think that is a bit too nitty, even though we had the queen of spades. But on the other hand, having the queen of spades is also potentially good for us if it helps us. But I think once he shoves that turn, I don't think he was bluffing. And if he's not bluffing, then we're never good there with ace queen, because I don't think he does that with ace jack or so. So, okay. Two hands that didn't go that well, but we had a really good session in the last one. We played on Sunday evening, Sunday afternoon rather, and I won 5 binds there, so that was really nice. Okay, here we opened ace 10, we got called, now we have second pair, could go either way. I am just gonna check this one. 3 of diamonds, also not super ideal. He bets now, but we have the 10 of diamonds, so definitely going to call this one. And on the river we'll have to evaluate, see what he does. If he checks, I will just check behind. If he bets, depends what he bets. So I think we should probably have the best hand, I would imagine. I don't rule it out that he has a queen, but I don't think I can get much value from like maybe a 10, but we block that, so I think just checking is fine. And he had ace jack, so he had us pre-flop, but we got lucky there on the flop. And then he took a stab on the turn, but that's the thing, like if you take a stab on the turn, first of all, just maybe make it bigger, even though the flushes come in, and then just overbet the river. But just going 2/3 or 3/4 or whatever he went, and then just giving up is probably not a great strategy. I open queen 9 off, getting 3-bet by the big blind. Okay, we'll just fold. Opening ace 8 suited on the top left, and just checking if there is another table that I could play. It doesn't seem to be the case. They're either empty or they're full. That's fine though. We'll get there at some point. Okay, so we just took down the blinds with our ace 8 suited. Seven four off, I will just fold. And now we have pocket tens on the button. There's an early position raise. And we are definitely going to 3-bet pocket tens, even against early position. Doesn't have a full stack, so he's probably more on the recreational side. Although yesterday I played without a full stack myself because I didn't notice that I hadn't topped up. Okay, we're getting 4-bet now by early position. That's not great, but he makes it such a good price, so I'm definitely not going anywhere with my tens. Here, queen jack off. I will just check my option against the limper. And now I'm going to overbet this. Here I'm going to bet small So now I can just overbet this one again. I'm gonna fold pocket deuces. The tens now I'm gonna check because I'm ahead of two overcards and I don't think I can get him to fold anything better. You know, but it's pretty big. I mean, what? I don't really see what he could be bluffing with here. Yes, ace king, but then why did he not bet the flop? I think I'm just gonna fold this. He's just shown so much strength. He's a recreational player, and it's a lot of money that he's putting in there. So I'll just fold. And I folded on the left as well, where Hungry ATM 4-bet me. So I have 3-bet him quite a bit. We have a bit of history. He seems to be a regular on this site. And he knows that I 3-bet him a lot. So yes, maybe he was pushing buttons, but King Queen offsuit is then still not the hand to get too frisky with. And I think we got called where, yeah, here as well. I even missed that one because I was so busy. Yes, so oh no, I did win it. Okay, I jammed. This is weird. Let's just replay this hand because I missed it. And there's not much action anyway, so we can afford to. Fold. Okay, so I bet the, yeah, I overbet the river when the flush came in and he folded. So that at least was good. But then we gave the money away again in the next hand, but that is okay. And we have ace queen. Yeah, so this hungry ATM guy, he always seems to raise to 3 big blinds, no matter what position he's in. I've got a cold call and a... Now he 3-bets, and now we are gonna 4-bet. Or should we just call? I mean, this is normally not a call, but with this other player in there who is quite a passive player, I'm actually just gonna call. Oh, he folded anyway. Sadly, but yeah, I wanted to have him in the pot there. He now continues barreling, and at this point I will just call. And we have a gut shot. I'm just gonna check behind. Problem is now we don't beat anything, because if he has ace king he wins, if he has a jack or a 10, if I mean what would you would have to have king queen exactly. That's the only hand that we beat, so unfortunately I have to fold once again. But yeah, that's the thing, like yesterday I ran so good that I won 5 buy-ins in just 1 hour of play. And today it is kind of the opposite. Or at least so far it has been kind of the opposite. But that's okay. He now makes it quite small, but I'm still just gonna call. And we're just not running. Great, now we do have 2 overs, but that's it. I mean, yeah, a backdoor straight draw. He checks, I will just check behind with my ace high. Now he bets, and we are going to call. He checks, and I don't think I can get him to fold much, and I do have some showdown value with my ace high, so I'm just gonna call, but he did flop top pair, so he was such an underdog pre-flop. He only had 3 outs really there with the 7, and he did get instant service on the flop. It's interesting to see that he checked the flop, so maybe he did it, yes, because he should check a lot on that board out of position, but also I kind of suspect that he just didn't want to bet because he had something, which makes me think that sometimes when he doesn't have much, he might be pushing buttons. Also, it's weird that he only raised to 2 big blinds on the button and in the small blind, when before that he had raised to 3 big blinds from any position. So I don't really know what that means. He is raising again, and I think now I'm just gonna 3-bet, and I'm gonna jam if he 4-bets again, because he seems to be 4-betting quite light. But this time he folds. Now when I'm determined to jam, he just folds. Raising my pocket sixes, not raising king 9 off. Getting called by a shorter stack on the button where I have my sixes. And let's see if the big blind comes along for the joyride. He does indeed, and look at this. We flop middle set. And this is one where normally I shouldn't bet, but because I don't care against 2 obviously very recreational players. Okay, so what do I want to do here? He just snap raised, so I'm just gonna shove. I don't think he's ever gonna fold anything good. But he is tanking now, so maybe he will shove. Oh, maybe he will fold, I mean, sorry. I just thought he's just fairly short stacked, so he will get his money, but maybe I am wrong. Maybe I should have let him continue. But I thought if he has a 9, if he has an overpair, if he has a set of 4s, if he has clubs, maybe even if he has 8-7, and he does call in the end, he does have the 9. So that is pretty good. And we win both, and he did call, so that's excellent. We are back in the game. We are back in the game. Okay, so Hungry Horse, Hungry ATM raises to 2 again. So I'm just gonna call. Okay, he bets now, so I feel quite confident that I might have the best hand. So let's just call. I could donk on this one, but don't really want to. I'll see what he does. And he checks behind, so we'll just check on this river again, and we will bluff catch. Well, he also had a 9, unfortunately. Unfortunately, he had a 9. it still means that we chopped, but that's okay. 10-4 suited, I'm just gonna open it because players tend to fold too much in the big blind because they have to defend very wide actually. And although in general players defend too wide, they don't defend wide enough in the big blind against a small blind raise, because there you just have to defend with kind of counterintuitive hands. Okay, so we've dropped to 4 players on the top left table. Don't know why. I thought it's actually a good table. Okay, let's raise ace queen. Let's raise ace 8 off. And here we can just 3-bet jack 7. We are going to start with a small c-bet on this ace high board. I'm going to raise king 7 off against these recreational players. Now we have top 2 pair. I'm going to overbet this one because I don't think he will fold an ace. Definitely not weaker 2 pair, but sadly. Okay, I'm going to fold ace 3 suited. I opened ace 8 off just because I have 2 recreational players, and then yes, this aggressive player in the big blind. But in general, still, I think it's okay in this exact lineup to open ace 8 off, even though in GTO terms this is not a raise. Okay, so second pair, I'm just gonna go for a small bet with second pair. He might check raise me, but that is okay. He does not check raise. Then here we have to call, I'm gonna call king queen suited. I'm gonna check behind on the top left. Oh, this is a nice one, and no reason to bet again. I don't think I can get much value, so just checking behind and getting it. Right, with king queen suited, do we want to check raise this one? We want to check raise this one. We have 2 overs and a flush draw. Calling 7-4 suited. And we got him to fold on the bottom right. That's great. Okay, now that he checks to us, I'll just check behind. King, obviously not a great card, but he checks again, so I'm okay with that. And we'll just check it down. No way we can get any value, and he has pocket deuces. That is great. Bottom left, starting with a c-bet on a7-6 and a backdoors. Now we are going to just check this one behind because we river the nuts, and now that we have the nuts we are going to overbet them. Okay, so jack, I'm going to raise, and I'm also going to sit out here because I don't want to have to face constant action in this heads up pot. It's interesting now with ace jack off. I mean, yes, he did 4-bet, but we're heads up, and ace jack off in a heads up is actually strong enough. I'm not sure if he things like that. And he has queens, unfortunately, but we seem to win this one. So can't complain about run bad. Well, we're running it twice, and he wins the second one, so that's okay. I raise 5-6 suited. That's my one suited connector that I tend to raise from early position. But I got 3-bet, fairly small 3-bet, and this is a good hand to play against a 3-bet, but not if you miss the flop as badly as we do. And I just have to fold. So let's see, we can join another 10-25 table. Pocket fives, small blind, unfortunately it's a fold, even though it's tempting to play. But no. Right, king 5 off, also a fold. Okay, I am going to raise a 3-bet 10-9 suited in the small blind against the button raise, and we do take it down. Okay, pocket kings here is a nice hand, so we are just going to cold 4-bet. So there was a raise, there was a 3-bet. Someone who called the 3-bet, and then I am just 4-betting this. And let's hope that someone will jam with a weaker hand. Yeah, there is someone who jams. I don't know if he has a weaker hand, because it was a cold 5-bet jam, but I'm definitely not going anywhere. If he has aces, then great. I mean, not great for me, but great for him. And we call the all-in, of course. And he does have aces. Okay, well, haven't had this scenario in a while with kings versus aces. Had to happen at some point. And it's kind of like when there is a cold 5-bet, yeah, you do expect that, but still, I'm just never folding there. Like, I want to see the player who folds pocket kings there. And it could still be ace king, it could be queens, it could be kings as well, even though there's only one combo of that left. Or it could be maybe even some weird stuff. Maybe ace queen or 7-6 suited sometimes. Not that that's very likely, but it could happen. So I think that is absolutely okay to go broke with kings versus aces, even though there is a cold 5-bet with so much money in the pot as well, because there were about 18 or so extra big blinds in there, plus the 22 from me. So there was a lot there, so I'm absolutely okay with that. So I isolated this guy, and now he goes slightly over pot, and I think I just have to fold. Also, there is this other player involved there, and once he limps and then he goes like this, I just don't think I am ever good. So with my pocket tens, I think he has at least a queen. Okay, and there's a jam and a call, and what do they have? Yeah, look at this. Ace queen versus nines. So I had the best hand pre-flop when we got the money in, and then we managed to get away on the flop. Thank you for betting so big, Limper. Because if he had bet small, I would definitely have stuck around. But yeah, the other player, there was like a total mistake. Like he had kind of the same hand as me with nines, and he jammed there. And I think the only difference was that he didn't have anyone else behind him, whereas I did. But if a limper donks pot, it's very optimistic to jam. So we called king queen suited in the big blind versus a cutoff raise. We completely missed, but I will still call this one against the small bet. Or actually, I could. Actually, let me just raise this one. Because we do have two overs and we have a backdoor straight draw. And he's unlikely to have really hit this board, even though he does call. The 3 is a very bad card for me because now I don't have jacks, I don't have my pocket 3s are reduced a lot, and so I only can really have 5s and the one combo of 3s for value, except like maybe ace jack, king jack if I check raise that. Problem now is that I can't get him to fold a jack. Can I get him to fold an ace high? I am gonna go 2x pot. And he does fold. That was good. Yeah, so 2xing it there, he might fold. He definitely fold ace high. Here, let's see, we do have a backdoor, so we're gonna call. Check again, and this guy, well, is short stack, so I'm gonna fold. I mean, this is quite weird. Why does he go so small? I am just gonna call again. He goes so small. And he had pocket tens there, that's why he went so small. Okay, kind of makes sense. Ace 4 again in the small blind. But this time we get a fold. Now I have ace 4 on the button. But there's an early position raise, so we have to give up. But as you can see, the games on this side are pretty soft. We're not really running into tough players. The reason why we've lost quite a bit is mainly because we've not run very good. We ran our kings into aces, and then ace jack into queens in a heads up pot. And by heads up I mean was heads up from the very beginning, was just two players involved, and so that wasn't great. And then a couple of 3 and 4 bets where we just didn't really hit, but we also made some good bluffs. And we managed to fold hands that are really not good enough. We got away with a pocket tens nicely in a hand where a weak limper then donked pot when he had top pair, which was a queen. No action with our jacks. And no action with our king jack either. So when you play, how many tables do you tend to play at once? Let me know in the comments. King 7 off, definitely a fold. Queen jack off from early position, also a fold. 4 deuce suited will also be a fold in the small blind. Five, 4 off, we can definitely fold as well. Okay, jack 3 suited on the button. I am going to raise this one. Kind of borderline. We get a call by the small blind and by the big blind. We flop top pair. And there is a small bet there. With top pair, I will call this donk bet. Well, that really is not a great turn card. But now that he checks, I might just bet and turn this into a bluff, obviously. I'm not expecting to get called by a weaker hand. Thing is now we have top trips. Should we still turn top trips into a bluff? I was definitely gonna go big now without this, but this is tricky now. I am going to just check. I did have the queen of diamonds anyway. Okay. Okay, we 4-bet. And we got him to fold. That's great. I have bottom pair and this limp pot. Just gonna fold. And I just want to have a quick look at this hand again. Where is it? The Jack 3-1. Yeah, so he... Okay, so he was actually behind. When I called on the flop, he was behind. So we were ahead because all he had was... Well, he had a gut shot and the flush draw. And then he didn't put any money in the pot once he hit his flush. But I don't think I would have been able to get him to fold on the river anyway, even if I had gone big. So that's okay then. It's good that the jack came and gave me top trips. Because then now I suddenly had some showdown value. If he had the 10, for example, I mean, they would have that anyway against him, to be fair. Here, king jack off will fold. So yeah, actually, I don't know if the jack really changed that much in terms of showdown value, because I would be ahead of everything anyway. That I would have been ahead of those hands that I'm ahead now anyway. That's what I mean. So it doesn't really matter. But it's good still that I didn't go for the overbet there, because I don't think he folds the queen of diamonds, or clubs rather. I think it was clubs. Opening jack 9 suited on the button. And I'm gonna c-bet this. Even though we don't have a lot going for us. Okay, he calls, and this is a nice scare card. So I am going to overbet this. Queen jack, I'm going to fold. Checking my option with ace deuce, and we got him to fold. That's great. Just checking my ace high. Now we have the nut flush draw. So now I'm just gonna overbet, and we'll take it down. We get a call where we have the king jack, and we are now gonna bet quite big with our gut shot. He calls again. Here we can just c-bet. Can we get him to fold? Check. I'm gonna fold. King Jack is basically the nut-no pair, except for King Queen. He bets small on this river, which is a block bet. I'm definitely not calling. The question is whether I want to raise this one, and we can go to something like 19. Oh, can go. Let's go 17. Because if you bet there with a 10 or a weak ace, he might fold. And he does fold. That's some good red line result there. Red line being the non-showdown winnings. Jack 5 off is a fold, 10 deuce off, a 7 off, 10 7 off. Yeah, not many playable hands at the moment, but Queen Jack off and the small blind might be one, depending on the action. But against the 3x raise on the button, I will just fold. Pocket nines under the gun. Let's raise them up. Get a call. I'm going to c-bet small. Just because I can clear out some overcards, but he does call. We have a gut shot now with second pair. Going to check. Well, he bets half pot. I mean, yes, that could be a jack. Maybe he has a 10 that he does it with, but it could be a. It could really be a draw as well, or some other nonsense. So I am going to call. And he did have the jack. Of course he did have the jack. I still think it was okay against a recreational player to call a half-pot bet on the river. We only have to be good around 25% of the time, and I do think we're probably good like 30, 35. Not a lot more than that though, so that I think is okay. It's still slightly profitable long term. King deuce suited against the 3x raise. Well, I'm just gonna call you with the extra antes. Okay, he checked behind, which normally means he has a hand, I think. But he folds to my overbet. That is great. Now we raise pocket tens. under the gun, top right table. Get a call. Okay, on this board I am going to c-bet, because I can get called by all sorts of hearts and a 9 and some other pocket pairs. So now on this turn I will just check though, and we still have an overpair. So we'll see what he does. He bets big now. He bets pot. 33%. Are we ever good with the overpair? What can he have? I mean, some deuce randomly, or a flush that he slow played, but I still think he doesn't have that much value, so I am going to call. And he had... Sorry, I need to check that. I didn't quite see what he had. He had... Oh, he had the ace-4 for the straight. Wow, he got there on the river. He got there on the river, so he did have a draw. And then he got there on the river. Right, here we 3-bet, and we're going to c-bet. I'm gonna call with 10-9. I think we can bet this one again, 2/3 this time, with king-queen. Here I'm just gonna fold my 10 high, and here the guy folded to my bet on the turn. Okay, starting with a 2/3 bet again. On this turn I am gonna check. And I'm gonna bet the river. Obviously it's a bluff, but we get him to fold, which is great. I made it look like I have a decent ace that I didn't want to triple barrel, so I skipped the bet on the turn and then bet the river. And we got a fold. Yeah, so once again, what you can see, I've paid off a few recreational players on the river when they got there. And this bet, because it was pot-sized bet, but I had an overpair. He could have done this with a 9. He could have had a bluff. So I think it was okay, just about. Okay, raising Jack-10 suited on the button. And getting folds all around. 9-8 suited. Because we're in the cutoff, I'm okay to raise it. I don't really love playing these suited connectors, but in late position I will open them. Getting 3-bet by the small blind. You can call in position with a suited connector. Thing is, we really don't have anything going for us on this board. I'm just gonna fold 9 high, and on a monotone board there isn't much I can do. Okay, so we got 3-bet and then there is a cold 4-bet, so I think 4 high is probably not good in that scenario. No action with our ace queen. Let's see if we get some action with ace king. Ooh, there is a jam. Okay, well I think then I have to jam as well, because I'm not going to call the 22. So let's just jam behind with ace king for 22. He jammed, he open jammed with aces. Wow. That is incredible, but somehow we managed to win with a straight. Yo. I mean, come on, the guy just jammed 22 bigs with aces. Pocket sixes, is this even a call? I think it is just because it's the button. He checked behind, and I will check again. I have some showdown value. And now that he bets again, I will fold. Nice isolation raise with queen 10 suited against the poster, and then everyone folded. That's how we like it. Okay, jack 4 suited will be a fold. Raise king jack off and the low jack. Okay, some potential playable hands, although now we're getting 3-bet where we have the king jack, so that's definitely a fold. King 10 off, we can raise this. Ace 10 suited on the button, I'm gonna raise it up. Hungry ATM is 3-betting us again, this time to 9 bigs, so I'm just going to fold. Had he made it a more normal size, I would have been okay to 4-bet. And with ace 10 suited, now that I 3-bet, got 4-bet jammed, I have to fold. Seven, 5 suited, we can raise this in the small blind. Flop second pair, starting with a check, because I like to check range on such a board. King, in theory, is a good card for me. but I will continue with checks because I have showdown value. And now, can I get him to call with anything worse? I don't think so. And he had a 7 as well anyway, and a better one than mine. So that's fine. He didn't go for thin value on the river either. I think in his shoes maybe I would have. Calling Jack 5 suited against his min raise. I'm gonna call this with a backdoor flush draw. And now we turn the jack. And no point in betting now because I don't think I will get called by anything worse. So we're just gonna check. And when we bet so small, I think we have an easy call. Might be a queen, yes, but still I'm calling. And we are chopping. Yeah, so he went very small there on the river in position, which is not really a thing, but it's good to see. So he plays quite transparent there. 10-7 suited, just about a call. With ace jack here, I mean, I do think if I want to get him off something, I have to overbet. And I'm going to fold even to the small bet with my 10-7. Not really anything I can do there. I got him to fold there, that's great. And queen jack suited against the 3 bet, can't really continue. Oh, we have queen jack suited again, so another chance. But again, there is a raise in a 3 bet when we have queen jack suited. Well, can't really do anything, can I? Ace 9 off, very marginal GTO open, but with the antes I think that's fine. And here, bottom right, I'm gonna 3 bet ace queen off in the cutoff against an early position raise. And got 3 bet with our ace 9, so that's fine. Just folding it then. We get called. So starting with a range bet, I know it's not a thing in GTO, you would bet big or check, but I think I can get away with a range bet because I don't get raised enough. On this board, this turn, I think I'm just gonna check. My hand probably looks exactly like what it is. Thing is, if he has an overpair, he's never gonna fold. Unless maybe if I jam, but that seems silly. And do have some showdown equity, although not a lot, but I just don't think I can get him to fold much. So I think I will just check behind and give up. Well, he had pocket fours. Wow. Okay, I didn't. That one, yeah, maybe that pocket pair he does fold, but even then he might put me on exactly the type of hand that I have. Queen Jack suited. Okay, I just want to play this hand finally. It's the third time I have ever within the last 5 hands or so. So we have a double gutter here, which is great. I'm going to go with the overbet again. Tanking, and he's folding. Excellent. Right, ace 4 off against the button. I'm just gonna 3-bet this. I haven't 3-bet much from the big blind today. This is actually something I want to do more, but I haven't really had the opportunities. That's a decent flop from my hand. Gut shot. Okay, here we have pocket queens. Definitely raising these up. He makes in 9 bigs. I am going to check raise this to about 25. Okay, we get called in the top right, and on the bottom left we get jammed on. Great. So I'm going to bet this here, and then obviously we fold to the jam. Interesting that he now donks on this 8. I mean, fine. I was torn between checking and betting anyway, so now I can just call. And on this river, that's pretty good now. We have top set. And he jams. Yes, we lose to 6-7 exactly. And other than that, we win against everything. And he had nothing. Okay, he had the flush draw there. So it's nice we got the maximum. It's a nice hand. I mean, that jam was a bit silly of his, but okay. Don't turn with flush draw, then jammed river when he missed. And he's disappeared now. He had enough after this bluff gone wrong. I mean, you know, when you try to jam into top set, that rarely goes well. But yeah, if I had a hand like ace king, then he might have. I would have folded probably in that spot. Okay, let's raise ace 3 suited. Don't know if this guy is a poster or if he limped, but whatever, I'm gonna raise to 6x. Now I'm gonna start betting. Here I'm also going to bet small on my backdoors. I'm gonna check, and here I'm also gonna check. What did he have? I didn't see that. Oh, he had ace 4. Oh, okay. Well, that's okay. Okay, 10-3 off, no. Jack 8 suited, no. 10-3 off, no. Let's raise ace 10 suited. That's a good flop for my hand. Definitely c-betting. 9-8 offsuit, top left table also raising. Getting cold. It's not a great board from my hand or my range. Now I'm going to go with an overbet and then another overbet on the river. If he calls, which it does. So this is great. Now we can go really big. 34 big blinds. Queen's not good for him. Yes, he can have a 4, but it's unlikely. He might have bet that on the flop when check 2. And we get the fold, yay. Yeah, so I think this is a good one to bet because I don't think he has a lot there. He might have ace high, he might have a flush draw that bricked. And yes, sometimes you will just have the queen of diamonds or some other queen that he called with on the turn with the overbet, although can't really see many of those. But yeah, he could have queen 10 of diamonds, for example, or so, that he called the turn overbet with. But even then, you might have bet that hand on the flop when he had the flush draw. So I think in general he is quite weak, even though he called the overbet on the flop. So we can get him to fold. Aces versus deuces there. A6, we can raise this one. Okay, we are going to start with a range c-bet. Get called, so definitely going to bet again. And predictably, we gonna fold. Eight-seven suited, as I've said before, not going to raise from early position. Eight-six off, clearly not something I like. Neither is nine deuce suited or five deuce off. And 6-4 off is not my favorite hand either. Okay, we have ace queen off. Hungry ATM raises again from the low jack. We are going to 3-bet in position. Ace jack suited, nice. And Hungry ATM 4-bets us again. I think I'm gonna shove this one now. It is very thin, but I'm not doing it for value anyway. I just think this guy has 4-bet me quite a bit. And he has 4-bet me light quite a bit. And yeah, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, because I know he doesn't always have it. He is quite trigger happy when it comes to 4-bets against me. So I have to put my foot down. Queen 10 off, we can raise. Even if Hungry ATM is in the big blind. Now we're getting 3-bet by the button and quite big, so easy fold. Ace queen suited in the big blind. I do want to raise this one up. This is for value. Get called, and we have an ace and a queen, which is quite nice. Gonna c-bet this. Only really losing the pocket eights, and now to a flush. Looks great. Continue small, and he snap folds. Seven, three off. Easy fold. Ooh, aces versus queens. Pre-flop all in. Not looking good for queens. I can open 8-7 off, small blind. Yep, and we get the fold, great. This is quite a big raise in the small blind, but I am going to call with 9-3 suited in position. A bit small, so I'm just gonna raise this one. He calls. He now donks small again, so I'm just gonna call here. And here we can okay, there's no point in betting because oh, he did have the queen. Wow, he did have the queen there. Right, here I'm just gonna check. We missed, unfortunately. Oh, he turned it there. Okay, this guy with queen. I don't want to jam for sure. Do I want to 4-bet? I think I'm good to 4-bet this one. Actually, no, I'm just gonna call. This is something I need to look up actually, how to defend small blinds versus big blinds. I'm not very good at that theoretical level, but I do know that this is definitely a call now. So yes, we lose to ace king, to ace jack, to aces, to kings, to jacks, to queen 10, but we still need to call. And on the river, we will see what he does. I'm going to check to him once again. He checks and mucks, so that is excellent. Had he jammed there, I would probably have folded, because most players, as you can see, do not find triple barrel bluffs in 3-bet pots specifically. So that's why I think, like, if he ever bets that river and it jams, there's nothing really for me to beat unless it's a complete bluff, because he's not doing that with ace 7 or so. Some not so playable hands. All in, ace king versus kings. Now we have the kings. Last time I had kings, I ran into aces. Now we can just 3-bet, and here we're going to 3-bet our 7s. Fortunately, no action this time with our kings. Yeah, I made this slightly too big here with the 7s, but I was running out of time, so I just left it at the 8 bigs rather than 7.5. Not really a big mistake. We get a call, and we flop middle set, which is pretty good, even though the flush is there. We're gonna start with a small c-bet. And fortunately, he finds a fold. This is the one time we didn't want him to fold, but okay. Okay, Queen 10 suited would normally be a great hand to 3-bet from the small blind, but because he's only got like 64 or so big blinds in his stack, I'm just a bit handcuffed. I don't want to call, so I have to fold. It's 6 suited, cut off a little bit too weak to open. 9-7 off normally absolutely a fold, but we have antes, we have two fairly tight recreational players in the blinds, so I think I can get away with it. It's not super profitable for sure, but should be profitable, but not if you get 3-bet by the big blind. So much for that. Let's try it again with ace jack. Seven deuce suited, not amazing, but we are going to 3-bet this. At least it's suited. Seven deuce off I would have just folded. Okay, starting with a small c-bet, betting range, and getting him to fold. Okay, so out of position I start with a range check on pretty much any board. 8-6 off against a min raise is very... Oh, sorry, there was a tiny 3-bet as well, so it's a fold. Here I will just call, that's fine. We check again on the turn. Talking about the bottom right table. He now sizes up to just over pot. I still think with ace jack I am happy to call. And now on this river, again if it triple barrels, most likely out, because players don't tend to find triple barrel bluffs, and I don't think he will do that with ace 10 or so. So I will just fold this one. Okay, bottom left we have two pair now. Reduced to 10 jack, but I think that might have bet out. So, but no. What's going on here? Oh, there's a poster there. You know, on this river we can just go for some value when the ace comes. I mean, not that we have value, I mean, making it look like we're going for value. Try to fold out a 7 or pocket 5s or so. Okay, we get 3-bet big for our ace 9, so definitely getting out of the way. That's what happens when you cold call 6 big blinds. Both the cutoff and the button did that. Okay, the button now back jams. And it's ace-king versus 8. And 8s win it with the set. Great. Okay, getting 3-bet again now. Queen jack, okay. Fine. Pocket deuces, quack quack on 2 tables. Ace 10 off is actually a bit too loose to open from under the gun, but because I'm on stream, I'll do it. we don't need to really go for anything. Here on the right, ace 10, we're just going to c-bet. He now bets there, that's fine. I'm going to call and checking this river. And we win it with our pocket deuces, great. Not a great board for me. He bets and I have to fold. King 10 off against an early position raise on the button, I will just fold it. And I'm going to 3-bet Queen 10 suited. I've got Queen 10 again. But against the button raise, I'll fold. Pocket kings, that's a good hand. Oh, that's a nice one, but unfortunately no action with kings. This is a pretty bad turn card, even though I have 2 pair. And now there's not much I can do than to call. And he had, oh god, he backdoored into it. Straight there. Okay, now we have to focus because we have 2 tables running. Pocket 9's just checking behind. And we've run out of value by now, and he did have the queen. Okay. Folding my 9 high. Pocket 4 is just going to fold in fairly early position. ace-10. We're going to 3-bet ace-10 in position. Now we're just gonna check though. This is not a great board. What a board. Okay, he probably doesn't have anything. I don't think I can get him to fold the spade, so we'll just check and yeah, look at that. Ace-10 versus ace-9. And what a run out. What a run out. So, sorry, I just got a call and I needed to pick that one up. But I am back now. This is interesting now. This guy overbets and all we have is a weak pair. But there are two flush draws out there and I am going to call this overbet. Now, let's see if I might turn this into a bluff. Because yes, maybe I win if he was just barreling with absolutely nothing, but if it did have like two pair or so, yeah, or even a set, he might fold, and we got him to fold. That is excellent. Okay. We can take a stab here with our open-ender. Here on the right we can 3-bet, king 10 suited in position. Got a call, it's a good board for us. Going to c-bet small, king high boards and 3-bet pots in position, basically a range bet anyway. Now, don't think we can get him to call a lot, so I will just check, because we don't have 3 streets of value for sure. If he checks, we can go for value on this river. If he bets, we'll have to decide. Betting he does, but he bets really big. When he bets so big, I mean, obviously all I beat is a bluff catcher, and what bluffs does he have there? Basically none. I can't see any bluffs. So let's just fold then. Fine. It's this one table at the bottom right that hasn't gone very well. Mind you, this other one on the left where I had my kings that ran into aces, that wasn't great either. Okay, we can just start with a check once again. Now that we have a gut shot, I'm going to overbet this. And we get him to fold, that's great. And you might think, yeah, we might have the best hand because we have the nut no pair with the king, queen there. But if he has a hand like pocket fours or so, he's still winning against us, even though we have some outs. Okay, we are getting 3-bet. Now this is one where I do want to 4-bet. My king jack off. Been getting 3-bet quite a bit from late position, or when I was in late position. Okay, going with a small bet now. He calls the queen of hearts. I mean, I have more ace king than he does. So do we even want to? I think I just want to check there. So I had the open ender as well, and I have second pair. And he now jams, and when he jams, that is not good news. Because he must know that I can have ace king, even though maybe I would have bet that on the turn. But now I have to, unfortunately, fold. Because I don't think I beat anything. Like, what bluffs does he have at this point? Probably nines that he turns into a bluff. Ace nine of diamonds or spades or clubs. So I will give it to him. Three deuce suited, that's just a hand I do not like to play in any position. Not even in the big blind. Nine five off, I'll just fold it. A7 suited, I can 3-bet this against an early position raise. If we get 4-bet, of course this is a fold. If he calls, we play post-flop poker, which is exactly what we're doing. We're having the nut flush draw, that's pretty good. Well, I'm just gonna go a little bigger. I'll go half pot. If I get him to fold out king jack of spades, for example, that is a result because he still has a lot of equity against me. Okay, now we also have an open ender with our flush draw. So we have 15 outs, we're going to 30%. And he bets small, and I think I want to jam this because, yes, he might be trying to induce, but I will just jam and hopefully get him to fold the hand like ace 10, queen 10, pocket sevens if he has that, or a flush draw. I'm okay if he has the club draw there. But we have so much equity when called that I'm okay with this jam. Also, as we can see, he is tanking, so we definitely have some fold equity, which makes this a very profitable play. And he does fold. Excellent. Here we can 3-bet our ace queen off. He raises me, and when he raises, that's the thing, like this is a bit of a sizing tell. When they raise to 32, I just don't think this is a bluff. This is something that wants to get called or jammed on, because he doesn't need to make it that big. That's a third of the effective stack. So I'm just gonna fold exploitatively. Yeah, maybe he just fooled me there, but I haven't seen him 4-bet me yet. I haven't seen him 4-bet yet at all. And once he chooses to do that, and then also combined with the sizing tell, I think that I'm happy to just fold there. Queen 9 suited. Okay, because we're on stream, let's open it. Let's raise it up, even though we're in the hijack, and normally I wouldn't do that. And this is why, because we're now getting 3-bet, and we have to fold Queen 9 suited. At least I gave you a tiny bit of action to watch. Yeah, so if you're enjoying this, please hit that like button. It helps the algorithm promote this channel. Still trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I reached that goal a long time ago on my other channel, on the live poker guide. Go and check that one out if you haven't yet. There I have almost 14,000 subscribers, but here I don't even have 700. So that's why I can use some help. Let's raise ace king. I'm gonna raise 8-6 suited in the cutoff. Getting 3-bet again by this player. Here I'm gonna check behind with ace king. Okay, I'm gonna call this one because I think he is bullshitting, but okay, he now bets quite big, so just calling with ace king. And there we have the ace on the river. And here now I do have to fold with my 8 high, not even a backdoor flush draw. Didn't want to bet there. Right, so here the thing is, I am gonna go for value, because if he has a weaker ace that he just tried to bluff with there, I am going to bet. Here with pocket nines, I am going to call. Okay, now check raises me. Okay, here I have to fold my nines. Here I'm going to c-bet small. And here I'm getting 3 to 1, 25%. Bet quite big, but he's a reg. Would he do this as a bluff? I mean, 25% of the time. I just don't think so. I just don't think he would. So, okay, I timed out anyway. That's fine. Here, let's 3-bet. Let's raise 5-6 suited from under the gun. We get it through. Okay, I'm still here, even though I've gone a bit quiet, but there isn't that much to talk about at the very moment. Also, I'm winding down the tables. But yeah, how have we done today? So I can have a look. This is 32 and this is 36, so it's about almost $70 more. Yeah, made a tiny profit, not much. Given that we ran with our kings into aces, that's pretty decent result, I would say. I was happy with how I played in general. Maybe I called a tiny bit too much on the river, but I made some decent laydowns and I definitely bluffed adequately and didn't get caught much. So I think that was very good. I'm happy with how this session has gone. But it's not quite over yet. We still have a few more hands, so just stay tuned. Maybe we'll have another big hand. It ain't 8-5. It ain't king 8 either. Do I have notes on Hungry ATM? No, I do not. Okay, this won't be a hand to write home about. Let's see, we have a couple more, 3 more to come on this one table. I'm gonna make it really nice and big. Ooh, aces versus queens. Okay, let's fold this one as well. 4 deuce off. Another one of these. Okay, come on. Yep. Raise and fold.